Good morning once again and welcome to another beautiful edition of Know Your Rights. That's now our law program where they bring sabi people, lawyers, them enter for inside studio from the Young Lawyers Forum, Garki branch to come educate us on top the different rights them we will get. You know, say for here we don't talk about freedom of association, we don't talk about the dignity to human persons, we don't talk about your rights when it comes to police, we don't talk about your rights when it comes to issue of landlord and tenant, we also don't talk about your rights when it comes to you as a consumer. And today we get another Ogbonge, wonderful, beautiful, lovely lawyer for inside the studio. We will come again to come educate us on top rights where we get still for our country and as persons inside this country. Today, our focus now on digital rights. Yes, these days now, online, internet, tech, now be the way forward. So today, our lawyer inside the house going to talk to us about digital rights, data protection, bullying, and identity theft. All of them be like a big popo English, but our person go there here to break everything down and also answer any question where you want to answer or want any contribution where you get to add. Without to waste too much time, I get the beautiful Faith Akatiki Joseph Esquire. Faith, good morning.
Good morning.
That's now the publicity secretary for the Young Lawyers Forum and better lawyer where they give you better advice for one Ogbonge company where you call Data to Bots. As she talk and it just shocked me. I say, man, a lady in tech, very sweet to see. Faith, once again, I really appreciate that you show up today.
Thanks so much.
Okay, so somebody that is in the digital world and a lawyer for that matter. So when we come, we say digital, rights. About what exactly would they talk about in the first place? What are digital rights?
I think to give like a broad definition, digital rights are simply rights that are attached to a person when using digital spaces. And this can go from your right to freedom, like freedom of expression, your right to access this digital space, and the protection of your data in actually accessing the space. That's the right to privacy and protection of your information when using this digital space. In summary, that's what it is.
Now, because our focus now, people for grassroots, people for inside core them. You just say digital space. When we they talk digital space, what exactly would they talk about?
Yeah, I think to bring it down to our level, our day-to-day activities like Facebook, WhatsApp, even Instagram, and it even extends to your network communication, the text messages you send, the other messages you send on like network platforms and all that. Even your call, the phone
so when we talk of phone, using your phone, using your handset for either text message, for WhatsApp, for social media.
Yes.
You they do social media.
Yes.
And then you they make call.
Yes.
You they do text message. You shall they use your device. So digital rights, now the right way you get when you they use your device and then you do for social media.
Yes.
All right. Now, so if I understand, like you talk, when you use technology, so you use computer, you use any device, your rights, when you get to then, I would call this digital rights.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So is there anything about it for inside our constitution or any of our laws?
I think when it comes to digital right, the core provision of the constitution that guarantee that is section 39 that has to do with freedom of expression. Because what you are doing in all these spaces, whether it's your phone, whether it's social media, is expressing yourself. So section 39 that has to do with freedom of expression covers this and guarantees your right to use these digital spaces to express yourself. Then another section of the constitution that also deal with that is section 37 that has to do with your right to privacy, which guarantees like your private conversation. That's your right to private conversation, whether you're using your social media spaces or your text messages, your computer, or whatever network device you're using.
Okay, now, if we won't come now, this rights, like how we get the 11 fundamental rights, the right to this. So when we're talking digital rights, like last week when we talk about consumer protection, they talk, say, as a consumer, see the rights them, where this constitution or this laws them guarantee you. So when you come to digital rights, what are those like specific, apart from, like you just talked, the right to freedom of expression, the right to privacy, which other rights our law book, or you as a Nigeria person, how you fit pieces this digital rights to small ways then wey be say we fit understand what are your rights when it comes to digital access technology.
I think I said from the Constitution because that's like the fundamental law. And I would like to, like, digital rights is not just any right, it's a fundamental human right.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so when it comes to rights, there are also other laws that also provide for digital rights. You look at the Nigerian Data Protection Act, you look at the Cybercrime Act 2024, all these like protects digital rights, but they are all drawn from the Constitution, which is like the fundamental law. And in terms of what these rights actually are, we are looking at rights around, let's say, like expressing yourself, just as I've said. Maybe you communicating with somebody, your right to post what you want to post on social media, the right to call somebody if you want to call them, the right to text somebody if you want to text them, without somebody coming to, let's say, obstruct your like communication on all those platforms. And you also talk about the right to do that without any threats as well. So that's when we look at right around bullying and cyber stalking and all those things, right? Then when it comes to data protection, that's when your right to actually, for example, now I'm chatting with you and nobody else is reading our messages.
Now, so it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Whatever you they tell me is between me and you. Now that's how they get that end-to-end encryption. Where we they see for WhatsApp.
Yes. So that's where the data protection right comes in, because your conversation, your data, from your registration, your personal details that you're registering this social media with, or maybe your phone number, your email address, all are supposed to be protected. And aside that, even your communication is also supposed to be protected. So that's both your right to privacy and data protection.
Okay, are there exceptions to these rights? Because as we talk like this, you mentioned some things them. Say, yes, now your right to privacy. Yes, now your right to send a message, to make a call, you know, the right to be anonymous, you know, all those things. But are there exceptions to this right? Abi, you can just do and undo.
Of course they are, because there's a popular saying that says, where your right stops,
now there another person will
stand. Person's right start. And aside that, I would say there are restrictions to, let's start from the freedom of expression and even the right to privacy itself, because even governments themselves can restrict this right when it threatens public order or to protect public order and morality. And also, even when you are using these digital spaces, they have terms and conditions. So long as you're coming to use somebody's application, social media, or somebody, they have their terms and conditions. So sometimes you see that this term and condition limit how you exercise your rights in that space. You cannot, just because you have a freedom of expression, come and insult somebody on Twitter. They might, if the person, that's why you can report it and the person will ban you. So all those things are restrictions. So there are government and constitutional restrictions, and there are restrictions that are imposed by also these digital spaces, that's your social media or whatever platform you are using.
Okay, so how do you now as a person know, say, waiting at the talk so? Now, let me say, okay, we don't come things like hate speech.
Yes.
Insults.
Yes.
You get bullying.
Yeah.
When to me, I feel I dey express myself. You know, I come in here and then maybe I dey talk and then I dey do those. Maybe I feel say we be paddy. You know, now so we dey roll. I just come dey throw yarns. And then the next thing is like I don't go against the terms. So how do we know the difference between what we call freedom of expression? Why I ask this question? I also bring into point something will happen of recent, you know, the Natasha, they see the dragon now, where a human rights person been go for X, you know, go throw away yarnings, and then government say, waiting he talk so. Now, like cyber crime, like he did against the cyber crime act, you get say. So why that now come talk say no, what you put they talk, he did against my own freedom of expression. So it can't make me the wonder say, if from my side, I feel say, I just freedom of expressed. And then from your side, you feel say, no, this person do me cyber bully. How do we marry? How do we know the difference? If you get anywhere, if you tell us, make we know the difference between the two.
I think, let me give you background to this.
All right.
I think before 2015, like, we just had the Constitution.
Yes.
And the restrictions under the Constitution. But technology has come to stay. And these digital spaces have come to stay. And government saw the need to actually regulate those spaces. That was why the Cybercrimes Act was enacted in 2015 and the amendment in 2024. So what this act did was to regulate this right, so that in saying that, oh, you have freedom to express, you don't express yourself in a way that threatens someone else's rights. So for me, the distinction between your freedom of expression and you breaching the Cyber Crimes Act is, let me make reference to Section 24 of the Cyber Crimes Act, which is what provides for things around cyber stalking, cyberbullying, spreading false information, and all that. So, based on the definition of that section, you are allowed to express yourself, but when expressing yourself involves maybe sharing an information that is false, which is not true about someone or about an institution or about a government personnel, or an intention or an information that is likely to incite public violence.
Yes.
Or an information that threatens another person, causes fear on another person. Like, for example, now you come and say, oh, there's bomb in Abuja, or there's something going on in Abuja, or this person is doing this. While that information, the distinction is that the information is not factual.
Yes.
Because it's not based on facts. What you're saying is false. It does not exist, right? That way now, it becomes a cyber crime.
Okay.
So while you're allowed to express yourself, you must express yourself in the ambit of the law, in the sense that your freedom of, or your expression is not false. It should be based on verifiable facts. Maybe something that is happening, even if you're criticizing the government, it should be that you're criticizing the government on what is existing. There are facts, do you understand, to back it up, not things that are just
talk or rumor or your own
and
mind.
whatever you're saying must not be with the intention to cause violence. Do you understand? Maybe saying, oh, and Tinubu is this, and we say, oh, let's go and bomb President Tinubu's house, or you understand, something that will cause violence,
like that will cause
and you see everybody is out there and trying to cause violence. Those things now are not legal.
Okay, now make I ask one question. Towing this line now. Let's say, for example, now the way we dey now for Nigeria, when Nigerians now they feel say, oh, we know they're happy, and then they come they plan. Okay, let us do a protest. Let's do a peaceful protest. Make we take our car, and definitely, you know, sometimes some people come and talk say, we don't get some intelligence. Say, yes, so you won't do peaceful protest, so but you get some bad belly people that we want. Whether they no get evidence or not, but because maybe they are the power that be, they try to now clamp down on, they will come out and say, for social media, these people, they try to foment trouble. So where they go now is, what if these were genuinely coming out to do a peaceful protest, but the other side feel say, this thing they against us, and they are the power that be, they can't try use them to take press. Is there anything this side can do?
I think, for me, right, even in using our digital spaces, the right to assembly also extends to
the
those digital spaces. That's why you can create group, create hashtags, and all those things. And yeah, like, so if you're trying to, like, let's say, for example, now, right, you want to maybe air your opinion or your displeasure about maybe something that someone is doing or the government is doing. Yes, yeah, within your right to do that. It is actually your right to do that. But just as I've said, it still goes back to how you do it. So it is not about whether you have the right to do it. It's how you exercise it. Are you doing it in such a way that, like, you're inciting violence, or you're threatening another person's life, putting other people in danger, or spreading information that are not true? Mind you, I'll also bring our mind back to the fact that even the Cyber Crimes Act that we're talking about is not a, let's say, perfect law, because a lot of people have also raised their concerns with regards to some sections of, specifically Section 24, that has to do with the cyberbullying, threats, spreading false information, and all that. People have also raised their concern about it, because you see that, okay, sometimes government want to, or maybe people, the power that be, want to leverage on that to, like, trample on people's rights or restrict on people's rights. So there's also been concern around, they say, some terms, like, let's say threat. What do you qualify as threat? If you say false information, it's very vague. What do you qualify as that? If you say, let's say, You understand? Like, what do you
Yes.
qualify that as that? If you say ill will and all that. So there has not been specific definition
Definition of what
that
you
is,
see as that
yes,
threat or that
yes. So you
spoiling
can
name.
see that those are
Okay.
some of the things that this powers that be can leverage on. Do you understand? To limit your rights and all that. But there's also been call around like amending the act for more specific definitions of these terms.
Okay.
So for me, I would say that if you're gathering, let's say digitally, or maybe you're like championing a
Physically,
movement, right? It's for a cause that maybe, let's say, you want to express your displeasure or something, you have to look at, okay, this thing you're doing, try to tie it back to facts on what is going on, right?
Okay.
This is, we are reacting because of this thing. And other for violence, right? Violence is not so much in the digital space, right? Because, okay, it's mostly controlled. Most of the times when we see threats live, what happens in the digital space is cyberbullying, right? Because, okay, maybe you're expressing yourself in regards to something, then somebody comes to start threatening you, or they are dragging you, you are trending, and all those things. Bodily violence and all that happens in physical assembly. But for digital space, those are the kind of things that you see. And you see that most of the times, digital spaces try their best to put restrictions. That's why you can report an account and all those things. And you can even go ahead to enforce your rights against that person. So, but however, whatever you try to do, make sure that it's not false. It is based on factual data. Your criticism or your opinion is based on factual data.
Okay, now this cyberbullying we will just talk about, like you just talk now, unlike the physical one, where we say person if you come bully you or threaten you and you go see the results, koro there. When it comes to, if you tell us some of the consequences of cyberbullying.
I think, let me use an example of, I think, two boys that threatened, I think, is this someone from the US, like recently, and yeah, saying, oh, if you don't send them money, they're going to do this, and
Yes,
they committed suicide and all that.
yes.
So these are some of
Nigerians,
the effects
true, yes.
you see in cyberbullying. You see that either someone is unable to express themselves, someone is shutting down their account, which is a breach of their freedom of expression, because they should be able to access this space and express themselves freely. But because they are bullied, you see that, okay, they are closing down their account. It can even lead to people dying, feeling threatened, anxiety, because even the act also provide for words like anxiety and all that. So those are some of the effects you see of cyberbullying. So it can go as bad as someone killing himself.
But how aware, like this talk now, because we talk on here, how aware are Nigerians of these things? Like, you know, you just said something now, say, would they look, now as you talk to that one, come to my mind, say most time, if you come to physical, I feel see my guy now, I will go threaten and go do. But whenever I come to that internet type, it be like when they do what they call emotional abuse. They know they see them for face. If they get consequences, how aware are people of this bullying online, where they lead to some people now committing suicide, anxiety, and then some other mental issues them?
I think for Nigeria, especially young people in Nigeria, we have a thing around saying, oh, it's cruise, and we catch cruise a lot here for young people in Nigeria and all that. And it is important for us to sensitize ourselves and for programs like this to happen, so that young people, because it is young people that a lot on digital space can understand that what you're terming as cruise can be a violation of someone's rights, and can also have like very negative consequence on the person, like maybe the person taking his life and all that. So I think what we can do now is mostly on sensitization, because these laws exist, but a lot of people don't know about it. From grassroots sensitization to digital sensitization and all the spaces that young people are, there's a need to sensitize young people, and also like other people that are in the digital platforms.
Okay, now coming to data protection.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly is data protection? Like you still talk, you know, the right to privacy, the right to association. We've already talked about cyberbullying, you know, somebody threatening you for online, somebody talking things that we know they against you, if you push you to. So when we come to data protection now, that's another part of what we discussed today, waiting down involve.
So data protection is covered by the Nigerian Data Protection Act.
Oh, okay. All of them get different acts. Them with it. Okay, so for the bullying we have the Cyber Crimes Act 2015, and you say amended 2024.
Yes.
Okay. Then you say for the data protection.
Is in Nigerian Data Protection
Protection.
Act 2023.
Okay, okay, I can see it here. Please go ahead.
Yes, so for data protection, I would like to define the word data so that people can understand, because sometimes when we hear the word data, we just think it can be information,
Yes,
and all
information.
that
Yes.
and all that. It's information, but information is broad. So within the ambit of the Data Protection Act, the Act refers to personal data. And personal data refers to information that they can use to identify you, from your name, your email address, your phone number, and your sensitive information as well. It
Like
covers
your
for
NIN,
that.
your
Your name, your
BVN,
BVN,
all
yes,
those pass. Okay.
your something that someone can use to identify you. And also sensitive information in the sense maybe your medical record, let's say your religious affiliation and all that, right? So those are the kind of rights that the Data Protection Act covers. So when they talk about data protection, it is actually the protection of this personal and sensitive data that you own.
Oh.
So it is different from, let's say, information, in the sense that maybe you say something. It might not protect that thing if it's not sensitive,
Yes.
but it protects something that can be used to identify you. Therefore, I think it still finds its constitutional background in the right to privacy. But privacy is broad. Data protection is limited to your personal and sensitive data.
Okay, so for what, in this context, as we talk of these digital rights, then we talk data protection. That's your personal
information.
You get your personal information, like you just talk your name, maybe your designation, your address, you know.
Something they can use to identify you.
Like your bank, this bank, BVN, NIN.
Even your TIN and all those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said the Nigerian Data Protection Act and cover RAM.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can be, what we go see as a breach, you know, as a breach, and then what should we do in situation where you find out, say, maybe something secret, like your medical, whatever, or your law, or your bank information, they spread out there. How do you, what do you do if any of this your rights or this your digital space they infringed on?
I think the Data Protection Act does, I think, broadly two things. Like, it sets out the rights of data subjects. That's those, we are all data subjects.
Okay, so what are the rights of the data subjects?
Like the right to consent, to give consent for your information to be used
out there
or not. And even when you've given it out, the right to say, okay, I don't want you to use it anymore. And also the right to, if maybe you give someone your information and it's not correct, to tell them, correct my information. Yeah, and also the right to say...
You see this one where you talk, so sorry sir I cut you. We need it very well in this country, because sometimes you go to do a registration and you they tell the person, see wetin be my name. And the person go, they tell you, say, no be like this, your name supposed to be, or then go change the information. And if you insist, sometimes you get insulted, or we don't hear plenty complaint of people that will go, especially for this NIN, going to do their NIN. You go there, they go rearrange your name in the wrong way, or they go spell your name the way where them feel say correct for you. And then when you try to make a case for it, it actually turns to quarrel, or in the end, they will tell you say they don't hear, but they go ahead and do what they want to do, and nobody they held liable for it. Tomorrow, when you come to do an editing, you have to pay for it, even though it is not your fault.
That's where process, like, it's one thing to have law, and it's another thing to have enforcement and all that and all that. So that's some of the process challenges that we have and all that. But ideally, your right is guaranteed under the Data Protection Act. That if
and you can tell
information
them
is wrong, you can tell them to correct your information. But whether they will charge you or not, right? Because there are sometimes that, okay, let's say retrieving data, you can also ask them, for example, you submit your data to an organization, right? You can ask them to tell you, okay, please, the information I've submitted to you, I want to see it, or I want to have it back. Like, I want to know the information that I have that is in your database and all that. The organization can decide to, like, maybe charge you a fee for to be able to, like, bring out that information for you, like an administrative fee for that and all that. So in terms of that, your right is guaranteed to say, okay, you want to change that information. But sometimes you might have, like, systematic challenges and, like, that can hamper, like, the enforcement of that right. But Nigerian Data Protection Commission allows you to file complaints.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there's a
and
Nigerian Data Protection Commission.
Yeah, that's the
where
agency.
you feel go complain.
Yes,
Say
that's
okay.
the agency that is in charge of enforcement of the Nigeria Data Protection Act. Yeah. And as I was saying, like the Data Protection Act is in two folds. One that regulates your rights and all that, then another one that regulates people that collect those information and how they deal with the information. As a person, if someone is coming to collect your information and say, oh, fill a form and all that, write your person, you have the right to know what that information is going to be used for. Like, what are you going to use the information for and all that. The person is even mandated by law to tell you what they want to use that information for. And for example, if someone collects your information for, let's say, a research in a certain area, the person cannot use that information for something else. Let's say to go and use it and maybe start something and all that, because you're collecting, you have to have a legal basis for collecting data and for processing it. And you can only use that data within the reason that you've collected. You can't go and use it for something else. It's a breach. Once you do that, it becomes a breach of the person's data.
Anyway, in case you didn't listen to us, you still on top Christ Radio and Television, and we on top Know Your Rights, where your matter now we own. If you hear everything and then what they talk, they enter your head, and you want to ask some questions, because today we talk about digital space. Today we talk about digital space, digital privacy, data protection, cyberbullying, identity theft. We talk about how your rights when it comes to using your device, when it comes to using social media. We just talk about data. So say your information is private. Your information is private, and you get the right, to say, I want me to change them like this, or say waiting them right, they wrong, made a correct time, even if they will charge you for it. But you want to ask a question, or you want to put mouth for waiting, we talk about the number for WhatsApp. Now 0906 891 8345. Again, WhatsApp us on top 0906 891 8345. And I still get Faith Akatiki Joseph Esquire inside the studio. Now, Faith, coming back to you.
Yeah.
You say you feel go lodge complaint for the Nigerian Data Protection Commission and at their work to make sure say all this won't happen. Okay, identity theft. What is that one?
Yeah, so when it comes to identity theft, for me, I feel it's like an intersection between data protection and cyber crime.
Okay, explain.
Yeah, because identity theft itself is provided by the Cyber Crimes Act, I think section 22 of the Cyber Crimes Act. And it is when you use somebody's details, still their BVN, their NIN, their names, on to pretend to impersonate them, to pretend to be them, either for a fraudulent purpose. It is an offense for you to do that. Let's say you use somebody's there are times that you say, okay, somebody will use somebody's name to open SIM,
so to register SIM
for yourself,
to write exam, to work in 2-3 places.
The difference, if you're doing that for a fraudulent reason, it becomes an offense. So cyber theft is stealing somebody's data to go and impersonate them. Simple words.
So sometimes now, some people now go just sit down, somebody go just call you. And they call from your bank, they get waiting, they do your account. Give me, what do we call those ones?
Those are they still fall under cyber theft, because the person has, identity theft, because the person has had access to your data. That's why the person is calling you and all that. And I think one important thing that that section, that's the Cybercrime Act, does, it speaks about people. Let's say, for example, if you're working in an organization now and you have access to people's information. Let's say you're working in MTN, or you're working in a bank, or you're working somewhere like customers related center that you have access to, let's say, information. Then let's say you call someone, you pretend to be somebody in your organization, or you pretend to be somebody else, calling the person, it is an offense. It can, like, it is an offense, like impersonation and
Yes.
identity theft as well.
Okay, so if you now see yourself, say you fall a victim to any of these matters, maybe, you know, your digital rights, they don't infringe on them, what and what should you do?
I would say the clear way of enforcement is enforcement under the like your fundamental rights enforcement. So you can decide to sue the person. You can, for digital spaces, right? There are also procedures that you can take without necessarily going to court. Just as I said, okay, most of these platforms, let's say if it's in a social media space, they have where you can report people's account, where they can, you understand, ban the person's account or deactivate their account for maybe cyberbullying and other. So you see, most of these digital spaces are providing ways to remedy some of these offenses. And if it is on a large scale, like let's say something grievous, you can decide to sue the person or maybe even file complaints, let's say with the Data Protection Act, if it is an offense relating to data, and even the police, you can file complaints with the police as well to take it up for you.
Okay, so like you just do report to the appropriate authorities. But in a situation like all these social media platforms, then you can do the report, block, you know, to the two-step verification. You can do passwords and everything. Okay, now, but when you say now sue them to court, like, is there, just get a lawyer and go, or is there any specific way you go feel use law to follow up this matter?
Of, let's say, there are different ways to go about this. Right? If you're coming in like by way of, let's say, your rights to freedom of expression or your right to privacy or like a breach of that, you can like get a lawyer and like enforce that under your fundamental under the fundamental right to enforcement and all that. Right? And you can also use the police. That's why I said if it's a crime, let's say something that's led to like a grievous harm, or even if like you can use the police, anything that has to do with crime and all that, it is within the purview of the police to prosecute them. And all that. So you can go both civil or criminal. However you want to use it. But just as I stated, there are other ways you can also go about it.
Other ways, like
that's digital like remedy provided by these platforms.
All right. So this situation, not only adults they affect, or you also affect children too?
Even children, but for children it's a very unique case because children cannot might not be able to enforce that, and they might not even know when their data is being breached, or maybe when they are being like their identity is being stolen or that. Because to be specific, right, even the Cyber Crimes Act provides for things around pornography and illicit content, like children and all that. So those are breaches. So you can breach a child's right as well, but their guardian can enforce that on their behalf. Like whoever is their guardian and all that. So long as you're a human being, it is your right and it can be breached. See that they are stealing your identity, or maybe bullying you, or maybe exposing you, like exposing a child to sexual content, or like soliciting a child to engage in any sexual activity and all those things. That's a breach of the child's rights and all that. So most of the times for enforcement, when it comes to children, they can be enforced through their guardian because they might not be able to do that. And children, I mean like someone below 18.
Okay, so but
14 thereabouts.
But generally now, for everything we don't talk today, if you just give us a very quick brief of everything we'll discuss today, you know, the digital, once again, what it's talking about, the different forms of abuse, what to do, you know, how you go take no. You go take no. Say you be a victim of this abuse, and then what to do in that case as we just round up the show.
So I think I'll start by talking from the rights, then the breach, and like I'll go from there. Then just as I've said from the beginning, we have different rights, like digital rights, and from your right to express yourself on any digital space, your right to access the digital space as well, and your right to privacy and protection of your data, or whatever conversation you're having in all those spaces. And in as much as, just as I've said, in as much as you have the right to freedom of expression, there is a limitation to that right. And your rights ends where another person's right begins.
Starts.
So in as much as we're going about expressing ourselves, whether political opinion or criticism, or maybe expressing yourself within your friends and all that, we must be very careful to make sure that our expression is within the ambit of the law. That whatever we are saying is not false, would not cause public riots or disrupt public peace and orderliness, and also would not cause harm to somebody, cause anxiety, make the person kill himself, make the person sell his property and give it to you. That's fraud and all that. Let's make sure that whatever we are sharing or however we are expressing ourselves does not cause harm to other people. Then I think for data protection and all that, we have to ensure that if we're giving our data, we ask questions. Okay, this information I'm giving, what do you want to do with it? Why are you asking me for my personal information? And that also deals with cybersecurity. It's the same thing. Someone is coming to your DM and is sending you a link and you don't know what the link is about. You ask questions and all that. Ask questions. What is it about? And if you even know, if you sense that it's fishy, you don't even open it at all. You don't even open a link that is sent to you by somebody you don't know.
Bam.
So and all that. So those are questions you have to verify it, and you the burden, or let's say the responsibility to verify, is on you to ensure, okay, you verify information before sharing it, and verify information that are being collected from you, and verify information that are given to other people. So yeah, I think for enforcement, when these rights are breached, there are different authorities that cater for all these rights. Just as I've said, you can go by way of, let's say, if it's your personal data, you report to the commission. That's the Nigerian Data Protection Commission.
Okay.
If it is things around your social media, right, let's say you're in a digital space and somebody is bullying you and all that, there are channels in those social media platforms that you can file those complaints against the person. And sometimes they can even deactivate the person's account and remedy it. Then if it's extreme, you can also get to enforce it through civil, like in a civil way, maybe getting a lawyer to look at it for you. And if you don't have the money to do that, you can also enforce it in a criminal way by reporting such acts to the police and all that. Yeah, security agency and all that. But you have to be, the first thing is to know this right and to know that you have them. Then when you know you have them, then it's another thing to actually enforce them.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, so you don't hear now. Today we talk about digital rights, we talk about data protection, we talk about bullying, and we talk about identity theft. And you don't hear say, when we talk data, now your personal information, the one we say they collect for your bank, they collect for your medical history, even if you go do law, this client, the customer, client, employer privilege, they're not supposed to use your information anyhow. Anybody use them anyhow, use the eye of law. Go to the right join bodies them to make sure, say then use the law to get you back this right. Say hear about cyberbullying, say not just talk, say, oh, now play with they play. Say some people now, they don't bully them, they don't tell them things where they're not supposed to tell them online, where don't lead to them even killing themselves or entering for depression or going through one or two challenges them. So we need to know, say, everything we talk for inside the media space, like you say, make sure, say, not be threat to life, not be waiting go press person down.
And not something that is not true.
And then good, it have to be something will be true. Good. Something will be true. And even if person tell you something in a privacy, you get something, you know good, maybe you go use and tell like rubbish for on air, for online, where fit to lead them to do a thing.
And there are also penalties to these things. There are also penalties. The law provides for penalties.
Okay, yeah, share with us the penalties.
Yeah, I think for things around cyber, let's say things around cyber theft and impersonation, I think you get about 7 years.
Okay, that's if you take person identity, if you form who you know be, to either defraud person or shall commit a crime.
Yeah, up to 7 years
in prison.
Yeah, with fine or 7 years or fine or both. And also for things around, let's say, cyber stalking, sharing false information and all that, right? You can get up to 7 to 5 years as well, 5 to 7 years, depending on which of them like you commit and all that. So there are penalties to these things, and a lot of times people don't know about it. You just think you're catching cruise, but your catching cruise is violating somebody's rights, and you can face, like the guys I talked about that made someone commit suicide. I think they had to like extradite them from
yes, back to
Nigeria,
US,
and they're
yes.
serving 17 years in prison and all that. So
Wow.
these things have implication, and it's not everything that is cruise. I think some things actually violate other people's rights, and for you, that's like a risk for you. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't hear and no be everything be cruise. And like she talk, this thing are mainly for our young people, our young ladies, young guys. Now then they use social media pass. You think say something na cruise, but you know say what you they do, they get consequences to another person. And then still to add to all of that, say some of the things that you also feel do, you need to secure your digital presence. Make sure say you use strong, unique password then for every account you get. And then on social media, you feel also limit people that if you see your personal information, your personal post, just be careful for who you they accept. Like Faith been talk, then send you link, ask question. Ask question, no just go open the link. Anybody call you, oh, I they call from your bank, or they say, I go send you one number now, make you send that back to me. Tell them, say, you know way to the bank. Go bank by yourself, make you go clarify. But over banks, so they get their customer care, they get the email where you go send to. Confirm from them first, not just quickly they give your details to anybody where be say you call. And most times they check your email, because these banks also send message to tell you nobody here will ask you for so
information.
Yes,
yeah.
You get. And then they also say on social media too, do like I talked, the two-step verification.
Of course.
Do all that two-step verification. Make sure say your own way too, they legit, they tight. Then even for social media, be careful the things you say. Sometimes too we dey overshare. You get ahead, so be also careful the things the way you they talk. You know, they very careful on your personal details so that nobody go feel just take your identity and use them that way.
And then sometimes even when you find out that maybe someone is using your identity, you have to report.
Bam.
Because sometimes they steal your SIM, or they steal like something that is personal to
your card, or
yes,
you say, oh, my card.
Yes, and you don't report, you just stay until that person uses it to commit an offense, and you're framed for it. Yeah, you see, police is coming to pick you up. Why? Because it is your identity that was
a
used
former colleague, just of recent year, very shocking, very wonderful, nice guy. Now we just begin to see posts say the guy is a rapist. You know, now later when we can't reach out, he was not explaining that him too, people have been calling him to tell him this kind of, that his phone just got, his SIM got missing, just went to do welcome back. Not knowing that maybe people have already, so we have to tell him that quickly go back to these network providers, and then if possible go and do a disclaimer on also a lot of platforms, because like that they don't spoil your name.
You can even report to the police when like these things are missing, so that they know, so that if any offense is being committed, they know it's not you.
It's not you.
Yeah, and you report to the police, report to your network provider, like when is your SIM, to your bank, or wherever it is, so that they are aware. If not, you can be framed for anything.
So now that's why I say report and document. Say not go engage with the bully, oh. No go engage with them, just report, keep detailed records. And then another talk say, if you're even experiencing cyberbullying, talk to somebody, trusted person, and a trusted adult, you know, a teacher, someone shall we go fit show you the way, like you talk, a lawyer, you know, or an adult friend. Then educate and raise awareness. Educate and raise awareness, like what we do here today. Thank you so much, Faith, for coming. Any last words as we let you go?
I think generally the word that I have to say is that we should know our rights. It is important to know our rights, and when we know our rights, that's when we are able to know what to do and how to go about it. So we should stay woke and catch cruise, but catch cruise within the ambit of the law, because social media is here to stay, whether we like it or not, and it is something that we're going to enjoy. But let's know that, okay, there are laws that regulate these things.
Okay, so you don't hear nobody talk say make you no catch cruise, but as you dey do no say law dey for the side. And then social media has come to stay, make we all learn and know how to use them in a safe way, in a way we say go benefit all of us. Thank you so much, Faith Akatiki Joseph, for showing up today.
Thank you so much for having me as well.
And thank you so much, Young Lawyers Forum. Say you show up. That's Nagariki branch, you know, sending me a wonderful lawyer, and they have learned so much on top of the show today. Don't forget to join us on Friday, 11 o'clock for a repeat broadcast. And then next week, by the special grace of God, another wonderful lawyer. Good day here to educate us on another right. Like Faith talk, Know Your Right. They already tell you where you can see most of these rights today. Like we mentioned here today, the different laws. We get the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is there for you to know your rights. We have the Cyber Crimes Act 2015. We get the National Information Technology Development Agency Act 2007. We get the Nigerian Data Protection Regulations. We get the Nigerian Data Protection Act. There's even the Criminal Code, the Penal Code, there's the Child Rights Act, there's the Criminal Act. So you see, plenty laws there for you to take touchlight to know your rights. So know how it take concern you when it comes to the digital space, so that your own no go lost. Last week we talked about consumer protection. The other time we talk about harassment. So you see, we educate you on top plenty things. We do our own to spread this awareness. You self do your own to spread the message out to other people. And you can do more to take a bit more about what we talk about for on top all of our social media handles at Christ Radio TV. At Christ Radio TV on all social media platforms. You go to hear a repeat of this show on our radio at www.christradioandtv.com. And then you go enter for all of our social media platforms. We go post them for you to have an idea of what this is about. Remember, follow us, subscribe to us, like us, and comment on all of our pages, and you no go lost. Till we come your way again on top Know Your Rights. My name now Princess. Thank you once again, Faith.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you so much, Nigeria. Catch you on the other side.